yesterday from a person who lives on the Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation, and he said that today the Cheyenne River Sioux were imposing we're going to require travel papers and limit travel on the reservation. Have you had a chance to talk at all with Chairman Frazier?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the state government's response? Because obviously there are state residents who are not tribal members who are within that reservation.
Yeah, so the question that Bob had was in regards to our tribal lands and our tribes and their leadership teams and some of the measures that they're implementing in their jurisdiction. I've been in constant communication with our tribal leaders, spoke to Chairman Frazier from Cheyenne River, and also was just texting with him again yesterday about the situation. They have checkpoints on their land that they are incorporating, and there is some controversy over who's allowed to go through and who's not. The state of South Dakota does not have jurisdiction in this area, but the federal government does. But I've been talking with the chairman about making sure that we have access for emergency personnel to come through, for those that would be restocking grocery stores for our tribal communities, for DOT to be able to get through to make sure they're doing maintenance on our highways and roads, and that there is a need for those folks that live in that area to be able to travel back and forth as well. So we've been speaking with the Department of Interior, BIA, also the Department of Justice has been contacting us about the situation, and we're going to try to help just facilitate information flow and make sure that what is going on with the tribe and the actions that they're taking works for everybody up there, and that we maintain essential services. That's my biggest concern, is that we need to get health care out to these communities if they end up with positive cases. And we need to make sure that those lines can stay open and that we're letting people through the checkpoints that need to get through. So we're working with them and talking with them. I know my Secretary of Tribal Affairs, David Flute, has standing phone calls with our tribal leadership. Our Department of Health has standing phone calls on a regular basis with all of our tribal governments. We've gotten great indications from several of our tribes that they appreciate the outreach that we've done and information that we've done as well. And just yesterday I was speaking with the Federal Health and Human Services Secretary about getting more lab and testing supplies to our IHS facilities in some of these tribal communities. We've talked with the Vice President about it as well. And I think the facilitation and prioritization of IHS facilities at the federal level has been good to prepare them should they have a situation where they end up with increasing cases.
Just to follow up then for a second, what is your advice to the traveling public? Should they go around those highways and those checkpoints? I mean,
well,
should they avoid the reservation areas and travel elsewhere, West River?
Bob is asking if what my advice is to people that would be traveling through reservation areas. I think that in some of these tribal governments, they're making it very clear they don't want visitors. So, I would say that they should be aware of that. These checkpoints were designed to slow down traffic through the reservations, and I would anticipate that it will slow down their trips as well. So we'll continue working with our tribes and make sure we're facilitating safety measures, but also ones that are effective and that still allow for necessary vehicles and people to be able to get through those communities, because they are essential for making sure that we have gas, groceries, supplies, and emergency personnel having the ability to get into those communities should the need arise. Yes, Patrick.